Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So in this video, I will be covering up a bunch of bleed-throughs that I have throughout the sketchbook, and that would be good inspiration for you guys as well, hopefully. So I have a few bleed-throughs. There are two ways that I will be covering these bleed-throughs. One way would be to stick something on it, and it could be either a collage or even sticker paper. And the other way would be to use an opaque medium like acrylic markers or gouache. You also don't have to cover up your bleed through, you can just incorporate it into a fun pattern. So yeah, let's get started. I started by mapping out the colors with a pretty diluted mix of gouache, and this is just because the bleed through was making it quite hard to see my sketch, and I just wanted to have a clearer picture of where I want my colors to go. And after that diluted wash of color, I just kept building up the opacity of my color mixes, and I also mainly start with the shadows and like the prominent things like the eyes and the mouth, just to keep me oriented to the focal parts. I added some of this brown to the background and I didn't really like how it looked, so I just blended most of it and then I covered it up. And that's the beauty of gouache, because it's just so opaque, you can pretty much change anything. I also tried not to overblend my colors. I wanted the piece to look a bit like an oil painting, and yeah, I don't know if I managed to do that, but I did enjoy using like thicker paint mixes and then just trying to keep the colors as individual as possible and not blending them too much, so you can kind of see the brush strokes and like the different hues and colors. And for the last touches, I just used some yellow and white for the highlights to kind of convey that the fish is a bit wet and like slimy. Although I don't know if I managed to convey that, because when it dried it was quite dull, and I know like gouache usually dries a bit more matte, but mine specifically, it looked a bit faded and chalky. So yeah, I don't know, maybe it's my specific brand of gouache, or maybe I should just lower my expectations of how shiny gouache will end up looking. Alright, that's the first bleed through covered. You can still kind of see it if you're really like focused. Like here you can kind of see the marker bleed through, but overall it's pretty covered up. I messed around with the background a little bit. I tried to make it a bit more painterly. I'm not sure if I like the orange here and there, but overall I'm pretty satisfied with how it looks. Let's go on to the next one. So these are the colors that I have. To match the whole vibe, I might use blue, this blue, or even yellow. I think I'm gonna use yellow. I've seen a lot of people do this where they will add a sticky note and then they will change the medium they use for the sketch. So I think I'm gonna do that too. I'm gonna have this be a color erase maybe, and this would be an ink sketch or maybe a pencil sketch. I'm not sure yet, but that's the plan for now. This is the second bleed through cover up. I used the brown color erase and I used like a brown ink and some acrylic pen for the teeth. It's pretty cool. So we move on to this one. For this one, I was hoping to use acrylic markers, but I'm not sure if it will be opaque enough because the bleed through is quite significant. So let's try it out. I painted the backgrounds with my Sharpie acrylic markers because the ink in them is a lot more opaque, and as you can see I only needed one layer to cover the bleed through. After I colored the background, I used white as a base for the legs, and this helped reduce the amount of layers I needed when I painted with other colors because my other acrylic markers are quite dry and the paint in them is not as saturated as the Sharpie paint. So yeah, I added the layer of white and that helped a lot. Alright guys, this one I think is done. So since it's quite small, I couldn't really get a lot of details, I feel, but I like how bright the colors are. And I think I covered the bleed through enough. So yeah, it looks quite nice. These are theoretically the shoes Fifi would wear. And she's wearing these shoes here. But yeah, let's go on to the next one. The next bleed through that I'm going to cover up is the one from the spread that I made in the speed sketching video. And to cover it up, I was thinking of painting some colorful flames on this black paper that I have and then just sticking it on. I'm gonna use this acrylic set. This page was actually a lot harder than I thought it would be. It took me a long time and did not end up looking the way I wanted it to look. But yeah, I had to do many layers of acrylic paint because the black paper kept showing up under the paint. But I also used color pencils to help with that, just to kind of bring the colors together and also to convey that glowy effect of the candles. Alright, I finished these. I'm going to stick it on. I'll also stick these 2 stars. And with the last bleed through cover up done, these are the 4 that we completed in this video. I really enjoyed making all of these, and I hope you guys also enjoyed watching this video and found it inspiring, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!